Hey Converge, it's Mission Minutes time again this week, and I mentioned it this past week at the family meeting, but I don't think there's a better time right now to get people thinking and talking about their faith. It's been a tough year. There's a lot of big implications to this kind of stuff, whether we're talking about medically or politically, and people do have big questions about faith and other more eternal kinds of questions. And so I do think this series is incredibly timely, and I love that we're struggling through these tough questions as well, not just as people who want to connect with those who aren't Jesus followers, but even us as Jesus followers, making sure we're strengthening our own faith and convictions along the way as well. I wanted to share a bit. I put some questions out early this week in the closed Facebook group just to get you thinking and talking about Carter's topic this week. How could a good God allow suffering? And I encourage you to dive in as a family, as a huddle, with friends on that question, because it is really important. But I want to push you a little bit this week and actually get you thinking about who and how you would have those kinds of conversations with a person in your life. And I think one of the big disconnects for us as Christians who want people to know the good news of Jesus is we're a little unsure and uneasy about having the tough conversations, and so we just avoid them entirely. And I think it's really important, especially right now, that we're making sure to have real and meaningful conversations with people. And one of the things that you'll see in that Reason for God book in the introduction is he talks about how in a lot of ways we've lost our capacity for respectful disagreements and good conversation. And so read that if you haven't yet, but I would agree with that. And sometimes we're afraid of uncomfortable disagreements, or we assume people are going to be disrespectful. And I just don't believe that's true, not if you're having a face-to-face conversation. And so I want to encourage you to figure out first, the last mission minutes that I did, I encourage you to figure out who it is and start praying for them. But I want to encourage you to start figuring out how you're going to have that conversation, to actually get past the surface of all the other things of life and actually get to the deeper questions of life. And you can ask something as simple as, hey, how has this pandemic affected you emotionally or spiritually? And see what they say. You could just ask a blank question, a blanket kind of question like, what was your faith experiences growing up or now? I do think too that you can get into a bit more poignant kind of questions where you ask people, especially if you have some trust, to say, hey, what really keeps you from pursuing some kind of faith commitment in your life? And figure out what those objections are. But it takes some trust and it takes some courage on your part and some intentionality and some good question asking to figure out how are you going to break in to that conversation. So I want to encourage you to do that this week. It's Engage Weekend. This is the time to have those kind of conversations. And I believe people want to have those conversations. And if you get to that point of objection, this is a great time to say, hey, I'm reading this book right now. Would you want to join with me and read this and just have some open discussion about it and do it in a way that's polite, that's respectful, that's loving. And I believe wholeheartedly that you're going to have some real fruit from those conversations. And so I hope that's helpful. I want to just nudge and push you to have some intentional conversation, to have some questions ready for people while you're interacting this weekend. So I hope to see you one or two of the things. If I don't, I trust you guys are out engaging like crazy on your own, and I love that. And so if I don't see you this weekend, I will see you next Sunday. Love you guys. Bye.